it was a strange weekend. I suppose it was a hugely exciting weekend in all 4 divisions of the league. But when you look at the Division 1 league table last night, and there's 2 points separating 7th to top, it just goes to show how narrow the margins are. We've said that throughout the league, both Liam and myself. There are narrow margins in the games. We won games we could have lost. We lost games we could have won. But this was an emphatic victory, in fairness. People are questioning about Galway like they did about Armagh. Galway going to New York in 10 days' time or 2 weeks' time to play the Connacht first round of the Connacht Championship. Do they want to be? I'd imagine if I was Pádraig Joyce, it's gone back to the 80s since they won a league title before, and they haven't that much silverware won. So when you have a chance of getting to a final, but we really played well, got some great scores, and we used the panel. The subs coming on made a huge impact. And got some great scores, and that was on a day when we were missing Shawnee Shea, when David Clifford didn't have to do it. Others came up and got some fantastic scores, and again without Diarmuid O'Connor.
Liam, John's point about so many teams being on 7 points, 8 points and 9 points and all, does that say it was tight, or does it say that people were totally uninterested in what was going on?
There's a bit of both in it, Donal, but to be fair, the leagues, and it's somewhat like your county leagues here in Kerry. Every team finds their own level, and we said it for a couple of years here that the national leagues have been very competitive, because you probably have the top teams in Division 1, and they're the teams we're going to be talking about come the latter stages of the for Sam as well. So you're always going to have good games. It's just a pity that there is that narrative out there of teams maybe pulling the handbrake a small bit towards the end of it.
Who's to blame for that? Is that managers? Is it players? Is it media? I mean, it's gas. I wasn't there yesterday. I was in Ennis, and I met a Clareman. He said, "Oh, sure, those games in early all fixed." He says, before they ever go in the gate. Like, that doesn't do great for our national games. It's the final game. And look, if you look at the scores, Armagh scored 424, Kerry scored 324, Tyrone scored 220. I mean, there's loads of drama, and yet people are kind of saying, sure, that was kind of sorted before they went in the gate.
Yeah, it is unusual, but I think the first thing they have to get anyway is to spread it out a small bit. Maybe give 2 to 3 weeks before championship starts, after a league final, so teams can really have a go at it. And you'll cut out that talk then straight away, because we have, like, Armagh coming down for me was the big one this year. Like, I do think Armagh, they had no interest in that game aside in Tralee that Saturday night, because you could see it in their legs. They were, even Armagh the weekend were a different team again, compared to against us. So there is a bit of shadow boxing going on. All right, I heard Pádraig Joyce's interview after the game, and he said exactly what John said. It's been a long time since they won a national title, and they were going for it and everything. But still, at the same time, if you look at the subs he made, the players that didn't play, you would be saying, right, if you're going for a national title, you wouldn't be making them subs. Yeah. We wouldn't be taking David Clifford off if we were going for a national title, or you wouldn't be taking the likes of Shawnee Shea and Paul Gainey. You'd be going. But so look, it doesn't matter what other county has done. We secured our status. Number one was the big thing we were always talking about, but we're after stumbling into the final. And I think it's great for Kerry, because we have very little competitive games probably until July. Yeah. So
we stumbled in to the final, John Kennedy, maybe because we put 2 massive score lines together in our last 2 games. And I mean, if you look at it, we got through with our scoring average, plus 19, which is huge. Mayo, uniquely enough, finished a point ahead of us, but they're -1. Okay. So did Kerry get the rub of the green, or are we finally getting a look at Kerry because we understand the new rules? The sod is beginning to dry up a small bit. We can make more movement, because yesterday Kerry in free flow, they were magnificent.
Oh, they were magnificent. They got some great scores, and I suppose you can look at it several different ways, like Liam said. But going into the Armagh game in Tralee, we needed a win. Maybe 2 wins to be safe. As it turned out, we needed 2 wins. So we didn't want to go down to Division 2, and I think that there was a difference about Kerry. Even in spite of missing some of our better players and our influential players, like I said, Diarmuid and Shawnee in particular. Tig Marley is not involved. But look, we moved the ball very well. There was an intensity about us. There was fantastic movement from defence to attack, kick passing, heads up football. And what I liked about it, and we've said it several times, as a former forward, you like to see a half forward or a wing forward or a corner forward taking on his man, going by him and getting the score. And we're doing that now. The days are gone for going into the 21-metre line and turning and kicking it back 40 yards. Nobody wanted to see that football. Even if we were beaten, at least we're playing the football that Kerry are noted for. And I think we were helped by Galway as well. Galway play that type. Mayo do the same. I think we could have a great league final because these teams, they go to play expansive football, expressing themselves, and the negativity or the bodies back is not there with them. But look, important to keep the Division 1 status. But like Liam said, I'd have to say, if Pádraig Joyce was being honest about it, and if he wanted to get to league final, would you take off John Maher, Cillian McDade, Damien Comer? Would you leave Shane Welsh on the line? McHugh? Do you know, I don't think you would, being honest with you. Nothing to do with us. We're there on merit.
If it was an All-Ireland semi-final, you wouldn't.
He played some of the same players last year and they were injured. Yep. So because it was championship.
Yep. Regardless of what Galway did, we had to do our own business. Liam, one of the stats, of course, stats are everywhere, but one of the things that jumped out, because remember last year we were sitting here, where are we going to get our next goal? When are we ever going to score a goal? That's 5 games without a goal. We haven't scored no goal. 16 goals in the campaign.
Yeah.
Obviously they help with the new rules, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. And look, what we're great here at Kerry doing is the natural footballer, and I think the change of rules have been massive. And we saw the game against Galway as well are a very footballing team as well. So you're always going to have a good game of football with them. But these rules, by God, they're a forward. They're a forward's dream. Probably a defender's nightmare because you have one-on-one stuff.
They've been, I'd imagine, stacked in favour of good forwards versus backs.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, it has taken away the security of the defender in a sense, and it's promoting, I suppose, the good value of the forward and also the good value of the midfield battle. Did you see much there yesterday? There was, yeah. You know, at times it was a kind of an area where there was so much happening there. You didn't know if we were losing it or winning it. No, Galway and Joyce said himself, I think from their own kick out they conceded 1-5, which is not great. But it was such a kind of a helter-skelter kind of a thing around the middle. We lost breaks, but we won breaks and we got scores. It was like a shootout in the OK Corral, really. That's what it was. But like you were talking about, I think we scored 30 points yesterday. 30 points yesterday. So that's fair kicking. It's a long time since Paul Conroy was as ineffective in a game. He kicked a massive 2-pointer on the buzzer, but you know he wasn't in it. It goes to show we worked really hard around the middle. And I think also Liam Silk, he was man marking Paddy. Paddy did a roving role and Silk followed him. Yeah. He'd opened up that gap up the centre. And I think moving Joe O'Connor to number 12 is a revelation for us, really. And Sean O'Brien has been excellent around the middle of the field in the last 2 games. You know, he's just doing his job. He's nice and quiet. And Barry Dan again yesterday. Yeah. You know, he's a guy that is really impacting a game now as well. Barry Dan can add a score or two for you. Yeah. Kicked 2 points now again yesterday. Yeah. You know, so he has a knife for the post. So we always talking about the league, about unearthing players and stuff like that. I think the league has been very good to Jack because the 2 Gainies are moving very well. The 2 new Gainies, I want to say, Paul is rolling back the years completely. But the new rules again. It's a forwards game. Let's talk about one of those new Gainies, Dylan Gainey in particular. I mean, I think he's, I don't know, maybe 21, 22, that kind of age group. But the way he's going, he's already, I'd imagine, most people's pick if we ended the championship or the league for young player or new player or the first young player that we've actually seen. How actually good is he? And it's great. Dylan is, look, we've seen it down through the years. All the Gainies with Dingle, but Dylan, once they're natural scorers, you know, that's the thing with him. And we're always said for teams, it's so hard to get a natural scorer, and especially in the last 10 or 15 years, the way the game has gone, the natural scorers were always shut out because there was 4 or 5 bodies in front of him. The new rules, the quick ball, you know, and then he's playing beside Paul and David, who are very intelligent footballers. If Dylan makes the run, he'll get it. But in many ways, he can enhance them as well. I mean, without a doubt, there's this leverage that, you know, David might make him look better. But the way he has been played, you know, he takes on a lot of responsibility. He can take his scores, but he can also come off the field and win a ball as well for you. He's that kind of one. Yeah. And a very intelligent footballer as well. You know, we saw when Tony Brosnan came off the bench yesterday, kicked his 2 points again. You know, everyone's rolling in. Damien Burke, probably our find of the year, really. You know, came on and got his
goal. So
in the square, was he?
I don't know. I would. I
Would have drawn the line shorter.
would have drawn the line shorter, but I wouldn't take it away from him, because I think he deserved that.
He deserved it, and he's had a fantastic league as well. Come here, John Kennedy, Gavin White. Nice to see him back, obviously. Took his goal really well, and really fitting into that captain's role now as well.
Yeah, fitting into taking on the responsibility, but he's running freely again. Probably carried a bit of an injury last year for a lot of the year, but his confidence is up. You know, he got the break too, I suppose, even though the Crokes were involved. He wasn't involved for a few weeks with Kerry, and he's come in, and he's causing a lot of trouble running at the defences. And this is the characteristic that Kerry have used in the league, from the half-back line, the middle of the field, Joe Connor wing forward. They're taking on their guys, but Gavin is playing great stuff, and as you said, took the goal really well. It showed that the goals we got yesterday, like Dylan Gainey, the ball in from Micheál Burns, the forward's instinct again. Another guy turned back onto the right and tap it over the bar, but no, he wasn't happy. He shot it in at the near post, Conor Gleeson's right hand. Great goal, but they're playing with a freedom, and they're playing with a bit of abandon, and that's good to see. And as you rightly said, the likes of David, Sean, when he comes back, Paddy, the pressure's taken off them, because these guys are contributing. So you can't be focused on the 2 or the 3 of the lads.
Like David had a very good game yesterday.
Yep.
And he only scored 3 points, and we've been saying it here, how we want other people to chip in, your half forwards, your midfielders and everything. Well, we had 13 scorers yesterday. No, we've scored 5:45 in the last 2 games.
All the subs scored.
Yeah, we've 5:45 in the last 2 games, which is something that we need to. The way the game has gone, that's the way you have to be.
That's without 2 pointers.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And the 2 teams we played were in last year's All-Ireland final.
Yeah,
exactly.
So they're at the top level. The 2 pointers, John. We bemoaned them that we couldn't score them. Now do we even need them?
We don't. Well, it's the thing about the 2 pointers, and we've said it, an 8 or a 10 point lead is not unsurmountable anymore because of the 2 pointers. Before, you'd have to get goals and you'd swat them back and you'd keep them out. But now if you kick 2 or 3 2 pointers, you're back in the match. But we're not shooting for them, number one. But as you said, when we put on scores like that,
when we're hitting 16 goals, you don't need 2 pointers.
3 goals yesterday, was 9 and the whole lot. The other thing is about the 2 pointers. I suppose a lot of coaches look at them now and saying, they kind of slow the game down a small bit. I mean, it is like that 3-point shot in basketball where you kind of slow things down.
It's nearly a set move, really, isn't it?
It really is. And so will that become more important when you get into the drama of the quarter-final and the semi-final, and when you're down to the last 4 minutes and you need the 2 pointers, maybe a little bit more than opening a goal? Will then you'll see maybe the Kerry boys stepping up, needing it, or will we just stick to what we're good at, I suppose?
Yeah. Look, the league is going to be over after next weekend, and I think that'll be shelled in. I think the championship will be completely different. You'll see the northern teams, you'll see all, and even the Project Choice's interview is that we'll have to do something about our defence. We'll have to come up with a structure. So there will be management teams, sitting down and say, how can we kind of close things up a small bit and make things a bit easier. But the one thing with the 2-pointer, if you can kick a 2-pointer, it's going to bring defences out. So it is a weapon that you're going to have to use as well. But we are so good at the intelligent run inside and that little pop pass. That's why we've been picking away scores and picking away our goals. I just think the game is suiting now an intelligent footballer. I think the day of the big athlete that can run up and down the field and that can block a gap for you, that's gone. You have to be able to play football now.
That's harsh in Dublin, isn't it? I think they won 5 in a row, 6 in a row. They were pretty intelligent too, to be fair to them. Come here, John, let's go back and we'll talk about our new goalkeeper in yesterday. Might have found it a small bit rough because it was his first outing in it. A lot of high ball dropping down top of him as well. How did he cope?
I think early on you could see he was a bit unnerved early on, but he settled in well. To be fair, his first game of the league, and we know his kicking abilities. A few high balls in caused a bit of problems for us, all right. As well as him, as Shane, the full back line as well. We were under that bit of pressure. But look, he grew into the game. And that'll stand to him, because I think it's very important if we get an injury to either of our goalies that the other is ready to come in. And he showed that he showed his ability, and he was in control in the second half in particular.
And that's important too, because if you look at it, I suppose we started the campaign without the Stacks players, we started the campaign without the Crokes players. They're all there, and of course the big question is, where is
We'll have to put a big sign up outside. Where is Shawnee?
It was where is David, it is where is Shawnee. I've got a good few texts in. Where is Shawnee? We don't know, to be fair. We've been told that he's carrying an injury, and I suppose you have to listen to what you've been told, and that's it, and we'll leave it at that. But I mean, when he will get back in, they're going so well now at the moment. There might even be a narrative, he'll have to fight his way back in.
And that's what you want as a manager or a management team. You want everyone fighting for the jersey, because it makes things very competitive. And at the way Kerry are playing at the moment in the last 2 games anyway, I think this weekend will be a big test now for us as well. Above in Crow Park, the whole atmosphere, the whole pitch. You'll see what kind of fitness we have now, and I'm sure Mayo are going to come out guns blazing for this as well, because it probably suits the both teams, because we have a couple of weeks before we go out in championship, so I don't think there'll be any team holding back.
Or there'll be no atmosphere.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was in Limerick though? Myself and John were talking about it earlier.
Will there be 20,000 people at it?
Should we, I suppose, 25, 30 max.
Yeah. 4 o'clock on a Sunday evening. I mean, it goes back to that debate. I mean, it's not a great time for Kerry people. I mean, already the trains are booked out. So, I mean, if you go, you have to drive. That's fair enough. People will say, sure, look, it's Crow Park. You should go up the road 4 o'clock in the evening, over for 5:30.
And it's a county league weekend.
Well, they're all been shut back to Saturday in a hurry. Yeah. Back to very fast. Yeah, God almighty, you see how fast I had to write a programme this week. Everything was put back, which is fair enough too, I suppose. But the other point is, like, I mean, it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock. Sometimes maybe the timing of these games doesn't really suit. I mean, it could be earlier, could it, John?
Yeah, we've said that several times before. Yeah. The Kerry playing late, kids going up in school the following day and travelling down, and as you said, the road will be busy, and a nightmare really, Donald.
And it's a final we didn't really expect to be in. Mm-hmm. Usually families are going to be planning ahead. This is kind of rushed on us a small bit.
Yeah, but that said, I suppose, while it's not a final we expected to be in, it's a very welcome, competitive game, because I mean, our next outing is it the 18th or 19th of April? It's the semi-final in Munster. We'll have to wait to see who we come through and play. And I suppose for the likes of Mayo, they will want to win it.
It's a national title. It's a game above in headquarters. I'm sure both teams will want to win it. Jack and the players themselves, they'd play it behind in corners with no one watching them. It's a big. But
the last time Mayo were there was 2022. I mean, they let themselves down in big time. They lost 13 points, carry out the gate in the hack. I'd imagine there's a lot of those players that even would hark back to that and say, look, it's all Mayo for Sam and Mayo for this and Mayo for that. But I mean, like John said, it's a national competition. It's a medal in your pocket. And of course, the cup is named after Micheál Mary Hurtig now, the current Micheál Mary Hurtig. So if that's a reason for Kerry to win it, that in itself is probably the most important reason.
And if you're looking past history as well, when we win a National League, we go on and we kind of...
Well, that's technically not true. When a certain manager wins a league, he goes on.
He goes on.
It's a funny game, Donald. I see heading in the paper today, Jack said your backs are to the wall every week in Kerry with the pressure. But go back a few weeks ago, Kevin McStay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they were almost saying get him out, because they were gone and they didn't know what they were at. On the Sunday game, some of the pundits were saying they had no pattern, they had no format, they didn't know about the new rules. Mm-hmm. Suddenly,
it was only when they beat Kerry in that game, and it was a fantastic game, that all of a sudden people said,
there's something about him.
There's a bit about him, because Mayo lost their first 2 games in the league. They had no point after the first 2 games. We thought we were bad with 2 points after 2 league games and the whole lot. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss the Mayo game. We have a couple of comments as well, and we'll do all that after this break. Now, if you want to give us a comment, 066 712 3666. Ivan's after jotting down a good half a dozen of them here, and text 083 300 300 if you want to text or WhatsApp. Keane will pick that up as well. We have a couple in hello lads, excluding Derry, the 2 weakest teams in the final. Ooh, I think John Kennedy were the 2 weakest teams.
That's a harsh enough one.
Well, we start with the harshest one.
Well, I suppose, Donald, it was so competitive.
Why would this comment think that or view that or whatever? I mean, at the end of the day, one team got 9, Kerry got 8. They won 4 games. The best scoring average of any of them. They beat 3 Ulster teams along the way. They beat last year's All-Ireland beaten finalists along the way fairly handsomely, above in Salt Hill, which is a hard place to go. And yet there's a perception that the 2 teams that are there are only there by accident. Yeah,
I suppose it's the way it happened, Donald, more than anything, because yesterday, like, Mayo were in relegation trouble. Kerry were at one stage. It looked Galway were going to come back, and I think because of that, people are. But look, we've improved. We've been on the upward curve. I suppose the Dublin game is one that we look back on. 12-point lead at half time and lost it, but we worked extremely hard. Like Liam said, a lot of positives from the league in that we've unearthed 3 or 4 players that are not just making up numbers now. They're in there, they're there on merit. This is going to be a real test against Mayo because there's no shadow boxing now. You're in the final. Mayo will want to win to get silverware. Certainly we will, and I think by listening to Jack in his interview, they like Croke Park. The players like it. They're back there. When is our next real competitive game? Have a cut at this.
Absolutely. Come here. We say Mayo is one of the weakest. We say Kerry is one of the weakest. And I suppose that's because we looked at it yesterday. And one stage, Mayo were almost relegated, and then there's all the doubts about Donegal whether they were going to win or not win, and then the penalty miss, and they hit the crossbar, and the whole lot. But at the end of the day, Mayo secured 4 wins and a draw. Considering they lost their first 2 games, they're going into this final in great form.
They're going in great form, something like ourselves. Now we have kind of gotten to the grips of the rules and the whole lot. So I think Mayo are much the same. A very kind of a footballing side as well, as we saw when we played them above. Now an attacking side. So I think we're in for a wide open game above in Croke Park the next day. But I suppose there is a bit out there about in the press about, I suppose Donegal were probably the main instigators of all this. And look, Jimmy's always playing a few games with everyone, so like they were impressive the day we played them inside in the National League. I thought the Dublin game was, the wind had a big factor in that.
I was going to say that, to be fair, in the Dublin game, like
the wind was a huge factor.
Kerry got clapped off the field at half time. We had scored ridiculous amount. We probably didn't score enough. We probably weren't awake to what Dublin were doing by the fact that they were slowing down the clock and killing a lot of time, because we didn't press them probably enough in the first half. But we did play a lot of good football in that game.
We did, and we went up to Tyrone against a tough Tyrone team above, and they emptied their bench as well very early, and they were smelling blood, and we came out and we dug a result out of that. So look, like I said at the start, the Armagh game was the only one that kind of clouded it for me. I just think that Armagh were after doing probably a block of training. They were looking down the line at a different thing. Other than that, I thought Kerry did as much as they were asked, really. It was always going to be tough because you're the best teams in the country in Division 1, so it was never going to be any easy games there. But I think, when you look back at it and when you analyse it, we're kind of deserving to be there in my books.
Fair play to you. Positivity. When will Sean Shea be back? We could do with a few 2-pointers. We kind of asked that question. Do we need the 2-pointers the way we're going, John?
Well, I suppose, look,
it's good to have.
It's good to have. We haven't kicked them yet. In the last 2 games, we've put up massive scores, but there will be a day, Donal, I think, when we, like Liam said, when this competition is parked next Sunday evening, the championship,
it'll take a new lease of life.
Yeah. The friendliness about letting guys go by you and no swarm defence and all that. We still have to play 3 up, but it's going to be much tighter. It's going to be far more physical, ferocious, and every team are ready for it because you're back to knockout football, and every result is going to be crucial. Pairings and who you're going to be playing against and all that, so it's going to be a different competition. And I think the 2-pointer, it's certainly something that will probably be looked at by the management, I'd imagine. Tight games, 2 or 3 2-pointers, crucial.
Comment here. Good evening, boys. Can I ask why is the final at 4 o'clock? We've kind of touched on that. You have Kildare and Offaly at 2 o'clock. We have to travel further. It would have made more sense for 2 p.m. I can't see a lot of travelling for it. It's too late, especially if you have kids at school and work early on Monday morning. The theory of that comment is really good.
It is, yeah.
But if the Division 3 final was the main final, Division 1 was the thing, would you have more people giving out?
Let's see. Well, yeah. Always the big final is the last one. So in every sport. So that's but 4 o'clock would have not brought it maybe to 3.
I don't know what's on. I don't know what's on in Croke Park at half 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. But Kildare and Offaly, I mean, a lively Division 3 final as well. I was above in Clare yesterday and watched Offaly and watched Clare. Clare done their best to lose that game and then came strong towards the finish. And then if they had a bit more luck, they probably would have got their couple of points and probably could have made the final. Peter Kane will sit back. He won his 4 home games. can't do any better than that. And he will point to the fact that he beat Kildare, he beat Offaly, and they lost out on scoring difference of a handful of points here and there, and maybe missed chances like that. His first year in charge, I mean, that's all positive on the ledger, Liam, is it?
Oh, without a doubt. And look, he's going to be looking forward to the Munster campaign now, because he's on the opposite side of ourselves. So he might be looking at a Munster final against the All Green and Gold. So after a great league campaign. So he's building something up there.
Mm-hmm. Tipperary and Limerick lie in the other side. No, Tipperary and Waterford lie on the other side of the draw for them. Of course, they play first and then Clare. How important is it for Clare to get to a final and stay in the championship, John?
Oh, I think it's very important. And Peter will be quite happy. He'll feel they're capable of getting to the Munster final. A worry for them yesterday was the injuries. They got a few. Keelan Sexton went off
injured, and Cleary got injured as well.
Cleary got injured. I think he looked like a rib injury.
But he got a right wrap under the ribs.
They can't afford, we're from the outside looking in, they can't afford to be missing their marquee players. They have the nucleus of a very good side. Brian McMahon in the middle of the field, he's another Gary Brennan, he's playing outstanding stuff for them.
Caught, I'd say 7 or 8 balls yesterday, totally uncontested, middle of the field, up in the air, no bother at all. Real pure natural ability, which points to the fact that you've often said, John, there is great natural footballers across the border in Clare.
There's no doubt about it. Killian Brennan at full back is super full back as well. Iguero centre back, he has improved. He's playing really well there, Ogman. So are they at Kerry's level? That remains to be seen, but getting to Munster final would continue, and with a new management in with Peter, it's continuity. Held their status and very unlucky not to go up, and a Munster final appearance would be certainly would tick a lot of boxes.
The Limerick man who scored 4-12.
That's right, yeah.
If David Clifford done it, what would
they'd be raving about it, and they're heading to Croke Park as well now next Saturday, so that's a big thing for Limerick as well.
And again, a team, look, it's across the board. We'd have a couple of listeners from the Limerick side as well. I mean, to them, getting to Croke Park is hugely important, and we I suppose at times we talk about and say, sure, we should play Mayo and such, and Kerry should play here for our own benefit. I'd imagine we look at that, but like for teams like Limerick and Wexford, and for Offaly, and maybe not Kildare, because they probably play a lot of Leinster Championship games in Croke Park, but for the lesser lights, and particularly for those players who put the same effort in, obviously, maybe not the same standard as what Division 1 players would be maybe at the minute, but for them to get to Croke Park and play in their final, that's what the GA is about too.
Yeah, and playing in a national final. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. And I think they'll be really looking forward to their day out above in headquarters. And it's guessing you'll see the Leeds are still driving Limerick on the football. Yeah.
I gave a very honest interview yesterday evening as well. I mean, he was asked about how they got there, and he pointed back to the game beforehand against Wicklow when they were a few points down and they dug out a result. A lot of these competitions, which we don't see probably in the media, Liam, as much as Division 3 and 4, it's about digging out results, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I don't think people realise then as well how hard it is for the likes of the Limericks and the lower counties even to keep their players interested and playing. I found it when I was up there for John when he was in Clare, to know that it's we take it here in Kerry, everyone wants to wear the green and gold jersey. It's an ambition up there. I always remember I went to training one morning with under 20s, and I passed a fella in Abbey Field with a Limerick tracksuit on and his bag, but when I was above in training, he never showed up. Right. And I asked him the following day, a friend of his came off and they went off rallying. Like that wouldn't happen down in Kerry. So it's just different up there. It's harder, but they're just so football is embedded in the crowd that are involved, and they give it everything. Yeah,
and yet saying that, John, we went to Ennis yesterday to watch it, and we rambled in the gate at 10 minutes before the game started. There was probably one person collecting at the gate. There was no big queue. It was easy to get in. When you went in, it wasn't 10 or 15,000 people. There might have been 1,500, maybe 2,000 people. But the one thing that Clare board done really, really well at half time, they must have had maybe 15 or 20 mini sevens teams and the whole lot, and they all went off, and Nero went to one side and the banner went to another side, and they all played. So even though we look in and we say there's nobody going, there's still great work going on within county boards to keep the game going, to keep the next player coming through and the whole lot, and that's something we have to appreciate too.
There's no doubt about it. There's some great work going on, particularly in West Clare, in Ennis. Air Oak have been county champions for the last few years. there's great people in every county. It's difficult because hurling is number one in Clare. It's up in headlights really. There's All Ireland champions, but like for Peter Keane going in, it lifted the profile. The fact that they were so competitive, getting to Munster final, you need we won't call them the weaker counties, but these counties need to be out on the big days in provincial. That's why the National League is so important to them. Same with Limerick. Yeah. Getting promotion is huge because realistically, will Limerick win a Munster title? Not in the immediate future. Clare have a better chance. They're a little bit ahead, but it's the National League is huge. That's their shop window, and then you have the pressure's off when it comes to championship. But it's very important for those counties to be playing in the Sam Maguire, because the Talton doesn't really appeal to a lot of those counties. Hasn't the same effect. Players won't give it the same cut for it. They'll play, but rubbing shoulders with Cork or Kerry for the likes of Clare or Limerick is huge.
Absolutely, Munster final day. Have you a big hall over in Curra, Liam, have you?
Oh, it's big enough, Donal. It'll be big enough for you. Whatever you want to do is that.
I won't be going there anyway, but Scoring an Og, Scoring a Bosch Tranagist is on in Curra, of course, on Friday at 8 p.m. The 28th, and best to look to all on the score Sheenshire in Cappamore on the Munster final day on the 29th. And of course, if you can't go there, there'll be a massive crowd going to the Tintown Theatre in Ballybunion on Sunday. Oh, that's unfortunate now, all of a sudden, Mother's Day and a league final, but it was booked long before that, and that's Scoring a Bosch finals, and that comes, of course, from Tommaso Hannafy, the hardest working Gael Gore that I know anyway. So you'll definitely fit them all in the hall.
We'll fit all them, all right. Yeah, we've plenty of room, plenty of seats.
Yeah. Can you speak Irish?
That might be the question. That might be the tricky question now.
You know the answers, you're all right. Mossy was on. Hi Donal, lads. It's great that we're in an unexpected league final. That was nicely put, Mossy. Not only for an extra competitive game for the team, but it will also give them a priceless chance to try out the new rules and their kick passing game in the wide expanses of Croke Park. Well done, Mossy. Did we miss that one for a reason? We're getting to Croke Park early to try out the new rules. Yeah,
which is a very good point.
Yeah,
because
Mossy will be here next week.
It does. It like Croke Park plays different. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. The sod and the atmosphere and the whole lot. The surroundings. So I think it'll be a good test for us.
Mm-hmm. Seeing that you were there, Liam, Paul Murphy's black card.
Harsh.
You go harsh.
I go harsh. Yeah.
This guy said it was never a black card.
Yeah.
He kind of collided with third man tackle-ish.
It was but the player kind of ran into him more than Paul ran into him. Sometimes a third man tackle is he deliberately trying to block. Paul was kind of after pass and he stopped, but
Damien Comer, wasn't it?
Yeah, ran straight into him. Yeah, I thought it was very harsh. If there was a VAR there, I think it would be overturned.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We call it a collision sort of.
A collision, yeah.
Because if you feel Paul Murphy isn't the fella that mounts up black cards. And another question for you, Liam. We'll leave you alone, John, because you know the answer. Who got man of the match yesterday?
we were just very good question. We were just on about, but we've
who would you have given it to?
I would have given it to Joe O'Connor.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, or Gavin White, either one.
Why so? Because
I thought Joe was excellent. Breaking ball, and even when he got the ball, he was making ground every time he got on the ball.
It's his second maybe big game on the wing, and he's showing fierce promise. But the one thing that we all kind of knew that he'd engine, but he's able to take fellas on and go on as well.
Yeah.
Another guy who can take players on and get up the field fairly quickly, Bruno Beglick.
Yeah, Beglick's having a great league campaign, outstanding. He's a real tough defender, but when he goes, he seems to be able to go by people easily.
Yeah,
and
he looks for the pass back. It's not like a back that's done his job and he goes home. He does. Yeah, very impressive. Really in great form. Yeah. But I'd agree with Liam. I'd have gone with Joe yesterday. He's been outstanding since he's moved to the wing forward position.
Yeah,
bit of space, more freedom, and playing really well.
And our number 3, Jason, and our number 6, who hasn't been spoke about too often at all, Mike Breen.
Yeah,
Mike has a very solid couple of games on the green and gold jersey. So touch wood, injury free. He's a vital cog for us.
Yeah, the centre back role. I mean, it was always kind of a very important role in the sense that you kind of closed the door,
especially when Ty got injured.
And Ty was back warming up yesterday with him as well. But for the likes of Mike Breen, to get a couple of games injury free, how important that is.
Very important. No, just to get, I suppose, to get the old morale going and stuff like that. For even for like I said, for himself, it is important for, and especially big games then as well. No, because you won't get much bigger now than next week. Then now again to lead you into the Sam Maguire campaign than the National League final.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we'll take a quick break, and after the break, we'll talk about that final next weekend. We'll take a break. Now, there's a lot of good results over the weekend. Of course, one of them, that kind of went under the cover of darkness was St. Paul's Utility Trust Ladies Boo-Boo's outfit, as Mr. Brosnan refers to them. They went into the Super League, and they were playing the top team, and as I suppose no luck at all would have it, they beat them, which was a fantastic result. And now they're in the semi-final of the Women's Super League, and that's next weekend. They're playing Trinity Meteors next Saturday night in Dublin as well. That's a big result, Liam.
That's a big result, especially it was above in Waterford.
Yeah,
and also you have the Warriors here in Tralee as well in the semi-final. So all things good for Kerry teams this weekend.
In the Wash knows nothing about the Warriors. They're right in there. John Kennedy. We're in a final. However we got there, it don't matter, we're there. Jack doesn't lose league finals, or he hasn't lost league finals. This certainly wouldn't be the one to start losing, particularly with the whole kind of, I suppose, the history of it, and people go back and say, oh, anytime that Kerry's won a league, they've continued on under Jack's term to win it. First of all, how important is it to win it, and will Jack tweak the team any way you think? Now, depending on maybe having Dermot Connor back or something like that, which I would think fairly doubtful. To be fair, I think what you have is what you have at the moment. Or having played Mayo already, will you need to tweak that team? Yeah,
I'd imagine the team won't be there won't be too many changes to yesterday's
big one will be the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
to see what kind of a change. Will he make a change, or will he stay with Shane?
I suppose for the fact that, like, Shane Ryan has had the 6 games, and I suppose Shane Murphy has one, depends on how you want to develop the goalkeeper as such. I'd imagine he'd go back to the guy that had the 6 games.
I think so. I think with the team we will see, it will be as close as team we will for your championship.
Yeah,
Kerry. And
is that the important thing for Kerry supporters to look at the next day, that the team that will go out will be the closest team to the championship, even down the panelists and taking a look at number 22 and 23.
Exactly, and we saw the impact we got off the bench the weekend. So I think that'll be something that will hopefully continue, and Jack will need that going forward, and he'll try to build on that. But I think 1 or 2 changes the most, but I think it'll be very close to your championship team.
John, can you look at the full back line for us? The last time we played Mayo, to be fair to them, they got most of their scores from 2-pointers and further out than maybe challenging us at all. A settled enough full back line at the moment?
I think so, yeah. In fairness, they're doing well. Jason is leading inside at 3, and I think that'll be the full back line.
Paul Murphy had a very solid game over the weekend as well.
Yeah. You showed his experience.
Dylan Casey surely is getting the nod.
Dylan Casey, yeah, I'd imagine he will, and I'd say they'll go with that full back line.
Are they going to go Paul Murphy or Damien Burke?
It's a kind of a tough one, really, because Damien has done nothing wrong. No, but it's fantastic to have him. But I'd say he'll probably go with knowing Jack, he'll probably go with the experience.
If you were looking at it, it is an ideal opportunity to test out Damien Burke in a national final in Croke Park against whether it is Aidan Shea or Ryan Dunho. A real test. But I'd agree with Liam.
I don't think Jack wants to test anyone. Jack wants to win it.
Oh, you're going down the winning route now, are you?
Yeah, when we're here now, you want to win it.
Gavin White is back. He's surely going to be wing back, is he?
Yeah, Gavin White, I'd say the half back line we had yesterday will be the half back line again. Yeah, Gavin White might be in the centre back. He's very solid.
Very solid, yeah.
Has this been a bad time for Tyke Moore to pick up an injury?
Well, as I say, when you have a hold to the jersey, you hold on to it, and Mike Breen has slipped it. But we need, with the new rules and the way the game has gone, it's not a 21-man game where you need a panel now of nearly 36, for everyone pushing each other and stuff like that, to get on the squad. So yeah, I think the more competition you have, the better.
If I said to you at the start of the year, John Kennedy, we'd be in a league final, you'd probably say it wouldn't happen. And if I said the likely midfield at the minute would be Graham Sullivan, Sean O'Brien, you'd definitely say that wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't, and it's good to see it. Sean O'Brien has been a real find.
Well, you have said it, Donal, a few times here about Graham.
Yeah, you have, yeah. You have, yeah.
Finally listen to me.
Yeah. And with Dermot out, sometimes an injury, to a player that's automatic is giving an opportunity I remember the great Mick O'Dwyer used to always say, if a guy is injured, it's giving another guy an opportunity to put up his hand. And certainly Sean O'Brien has come in, he's done really well. Really workmanlike, winning ball, great engine, and plays a particular role for the team, which is very effective.
What players back in your day would have got that maybe free pass because some guy got injured and off they went? I remember John Kennedy getting it there for an All-Ireland final or two. You'll be an expert to talk.
I suppose the big one was the captaincy the other team. I don't know, James's father broke his hand and Ambrose became captain. He was nominated after, but like it's there was a year Bomber had an appendix and Tommy Daly thinks that to somebody else came in. That you're like Liam said there, your team is only as good as your panel. There's a lot of training. There's a long way to the quarter final or to the semi-finals of the All-Ireland series, and we'll need a panel, because what happened here can happen to other players, and you have to have somebody, maybe two even, to come in and to be there and to be ready, and that you're confident in them. And we certainly have got a few, Damien Burke, Sean O'Brien, the Gainies, they certainly have come up to that level.
And I suppose, to be fair to my experience and the Sean O'Briens, they've kind of served an apprenticeship to get to here as well. I mean,
not as if they were parachuted in there a while.
No, and they've done their time.
And it's a big test from the weekend, or midfield, whoever it's going to be, because you've Matthew Ryan and
Stephen Cohen.
No,
there's going to be a lot of pace.
And Crow Park is a big field as well, so it's going to be a big test.
Like, we're happy with our midfield, but I suppose Matthew Ruan has been the midfielder of the National League so far.
Yeah.
Outstanding, kicking 3 or 4 points in every game, kicking 2-pointers, and is a box-to-box player, real test.
So which one of those two players are going to likely go after him? Graham Sullivan, fit, Sean O'Brien?
Do you know what, either of them?
Yeah.
They're competitive kind of players, and they're physical. They'll run with him. It's going to be a great test for them.
Yeah, and of course this comes with a health warning, because we don't know who's fit or who's not fit, or the whole lot.
Well, you'll have Barry Dan holding his hand up now after the weekend again.
Barry Dan.
Yeah, he won't be too far away from a starting position, although usually a management team, when fellas start coming off the bench and they make an impact, you kind of be hoping that, right, he might do it again the next day. So you'll be
turn into Darren O'Sullivan.
We'll plough on with a couple. We'll plough on and maybe get 35 minutes out of Donal, and we'll bring on John to finish off the game.
Micheál Burns, this time last year he wasn't there at all. Paddy Clifford, of course, he's going to be there every year, and Joe O'Connor, we would have planked him midfield, and now, as you said, he looks already made 12 or a 10. Good to pick up breaking ball, good to get going. Are they the likely three with Micheál Burns?
They are, I'd say, yeah. Like Micheál Burns, his campaign with Dr. Crokes, whatever. And you know what I like?
How vital was that for him?
It was, because that was a kind of, I'd say he kind of fell out of love with football, even by his interviews and stuff like that. And the Crokes thing, kind of, he went away to America and he came back and he kind of got into it, and you could see there was a pep in his step, and he got back in. And fair play to him for coming back in, because I know a couple of fellas that wouldn't have come back in after what happened. And fair play to Jack for bringing him back in. So the rush, whatever was after happening underneath the carpet, and look, hopefully he can give a performance, because he's moving well. He's a bit of a terrier, he's kicking his few points, and it's a half-forward line that's industrial, and now we can score as well. We're adding scores to it, which is good.
Is Micheál Burns another guy, John Kennedy, that the new rules have just opened a whole new pathway for him? I mean, you saw the amount of space he got against Armagh. He was lively yesterday. He can kick his point once he gets a bit of room. He's great for the pass and maybe drive on to get the next pass as well. Are the new rules kind of giving these footballers, and I use that in maybe a very kind of slight term, a chance of a second redemption, a chance of maybe showing what they were capable of, whereas the last time around under the old rules, players like Micheál Burns would never get a chance to get a free ball in any part of the field, have 2 fellas after him, 3 fellas after him, he'd be going backwards, but now he's getting a chance.
No doubt, all of that done, and I'd put in the kick-outs into that as well. There's a lot of breaking ball now. Before, you were giving the ball to the nearest man and you were squeezing up, that you were crowded. Now the ball is out there. He's an industrial kind of a player. That half-forward line are really workmanlike, and he's enjoying, you can see he's enjoying his football. He's working really hard. He does his bit, and then when there's somebody else to come in to finish off the job, like Liam said, he's shooting as well, and obviously that has come. His confidence was back from the great run with the Crokes. He put it behind him, and well done to all concerned, again to Jack, and to bring him back, but for Micheál to come back, and he's it certainly has improved, and he's in there on merit, and certainly he's having a great campaign as well.
David, 3 points in a game, people will be all concerned
take him
about
off.
the whole. Take him off. 1 free, 2 from play at 13. Would it be fair to say he kind of got around in maybe second or third gear yesterday without kind of going into top gear? No, he was involved in a lot of
his
went
assists
on the field.
and stuff like,
He created the space and the whole lot, but he didn't take a lot of shots on.
No, and he looks like a player. He looks the way he played now yesterday is that he knows he's drawing so much attention that he's making that pass, that kind of a way. But we said it here 2 weeks ago. Don't worry about David. Let's get everything around David right, because on the big day he will show up. No, I've no doubt about it. So if we can get all the dots around him, I wouldn't worry one bit about David Clifford.
And he showed up in the final against Mayo. The last time he got plenty of attention for it as well. Paul Ganey, 7 points yesterday. Took all the frees, a point from play, involved in a lot of movement. Is he your 14?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. He's Rolls Royce of a forward. No, he's intelligent. He can come in, he can come out. He's making that pass. He's creating the space without for other forwards to move into. He's just he's your linchman really up there.
Yeah, his attitude. I think we said it after the All Ireland last year, the semi-final. His interview afterwards. A lot of guys throw the bag. He couldn't wait to get back on the pitch. He did it for Dingle afterwards, and his appetite for the game. But he's really enjoying it. He appears to be off the mark. Over the first couple of metres, he has that pace. He can go by fellas. He's kicking great scores, but he has a vision. He's bringing other guys into it, and I think that full forward line with Dylan and David and himself, they complement each other. It's very difficult to mark 3 of them inside there, and their movement, I think, off the ball. We've said this before. Players weren't moving because the ball wasn't going in. Now the ball has gone in, but they are moving for it. And people say the ball going from midfield to half forward line is a great ball. It is only as good as the movement inside.
Yeah, and then as well, when you were moving with the last 10 years, there was 3 fellas around you.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you got the ball, there's 3 fellas facing you, and you were passing it out. Whereas now it's 1-on-1, and you could see they have that little step and a little pep in their step, and even Paul has it now as well. And I think this is a new lease of life for him.
Dylan Ganey. I think, to be fair, of all the fines that have been found, he certainly is the one for me at the minute. 1-2 again yesterday, involved in so much going on around the field. Can come out as well as a corner forward and win a ball. He's not afraid to jump up in with a big gang of 6 or 8 fellas and wait for a break, or maybe catching the whole lot. He surely will be in 15.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. But not, like we said earlier, a natural forward. Yeah. No, he knows where the goals are, and he's intelligent, and like a good forward will either score for you or he'll create a space for the other forward to score, and all the Gainies have that.
Just to upset you, where would you put Tony Brosnan?
Tony, I think, is coming off the bench. I don't think he's starting yet.
Would he not be better than Micheál Burns?
You're going to need both of them. Because the way the game has gone with the pace of it, and I think Tony is a guy when the game opens up, he's a kicker. Mm-hmm. And I do think the last 2 games that he's come on, he's been kicking points because it opens up a small bit more for him. Whereas I think if you could get Micheál to do the dirty work and kind of wear fellas down, and Tony to come in then and finish.
And to be fair, between Burns and Tony Brosnan coming off the bench, that number 10 position delivered 3 points from play, which is massive. It's substantial. We talked about Barry then. A very good league campaign. There was a lot said maybe last year and the year before that he kind of wasn't making the grade or wasn't getting to the level of play. He's not only there now, John, he's competing, he's winning ball, he's kicking points. Is he still a little bit more to do just to get into the midfield position to start, or maybe is he a starter?
Yeah, his role at the moment, what they're using him in, is very effective. He's influencing every game when he comes on. Picked up a couple of niggles there during the league. He will be in the mix when it comes to championship. Don't think he'll start the next day, I'd imagine. But then again, we're not sure. But Barry Dan's certainly in the mix. He's playing some great stuff. He's adding that physical presence around the middle, good hands, and he has delivered 2 points again yesterday when he came on.
And here's the worst news of all, best comment of the night, and the clocks are going forward and are going to lose an hour in bed as well.
To make the weekend even harder.
It'll be 5 hours to get to Dublin rather than 4. Is the theory that it isn't good to compete in and even win a league fair? Is it a fair theory to have? It's more of a narrative than an actual thing.
is,
I would imagine.
I don't think we have it in our vocabulary down here.
No. But you'd have to be fair. You look at the Ulster counties, Donegal in particular. You're starting an Ulster Championship that's so competitive the week after. Is it good preparation to play a league final, win or lose, and be out 7 days or 6 days later in an Ulster Championship? I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Quick one here from Roman in Killarney. Winning the league has never served Kerry or Dublin too badly in the last 15 and 20 years, and when Cork won the All-Ireland 2010, they also won the league that year. It's a pity that a reputation of such a great competition has been disgraced.
I wouldn't say it's disgraced, but there is a bit of a cloud over it, all right. But like winning a league, it's like it's a national title. Like we said, we never kind of laugh at it down here. Whenever we get a chance to have a go at it, we seem to hold our hands up and have a right shot at it.
And yet so many teams come across and say, it wasn't our number one priority, we just didn't want to get relegated. Quick word for Tyrone, John. 7 points to get relegated. You were saying a couple of weeks ago, if we got 6 we'd be safe. To go down with 7, that must hurt.
And they'll be thinking the Killarney guys missed the first few rounds.
Yeah.
The Canavans, Peter Hart, because of the All-Ireland campaign. Huge dent to them. But they're going to have a say in the championship.
They will, because they're starting to move.
They're starting to move, and they're they'll be difficult to beat. But it's a real, it's so hard to take that with 7 points you're relegated. It shows how competitive it was.
And the good news for you, with 5 seconds to go, you have another week next week. So you can go to your quiz on Friday night. We'll take a break.